Hey guys, so we're gonna do a bit of an overview of the markets today. So first off, we're gonna be looking at Bitcoin here. It's made a pretty big move since the last time we recorded a video, and it's currently running right now. So if we look at it from a larger perspective, we could see that it had gone on a parabolic run here, depicted by the trend lines. We had initially broken below it, but the support around 7,500 held pretty strong. We had a 5-6 tests, and it looks like we broke back above this parabolic trend line. If we go down on the lower time frames here, we could see it was, I think the break back above, the solid break back above was at 9 o'clock this morning. Actually, let's go back down to our time here on the East Coast. It was around 8 o'clock last night. We had the break above. We are currently, with our charts here, we are targeting around 10,000 on spot. If we do get a move higher, I still could see us hitting around 10,500. Unless we get a strong rejection here, the 10,000 level or maybe a bit above could be hit before we see I would say a pullback. Whether it's significant or not needs to be seen with the velocity of the move. But if we do zoom out here, we could see that volume continues to decrease. Unless we get a spike of volume above this downward sloping line, I would expect that any move higher here is getting near exhaustion, and to be careful taking any longs up here because we could see a pullback. Not saying the trend might not continue, but we could see a pullback. I do see probably it could pull back down to the 9,200 level before we continue upwards. Levels below again would be the same ones we've been testing on the way up, 8,300. And you could see that there's a lot of support coming down all the way to 6,500. So there is a lot of area support down here. If we do in fact break below this level here, the 6,530 level, even all the way down to 6,000, we wouldn't be in the worst shape. It would be a pullback which has been expected by a lot of people. If we do break below this support, then we might be in a bit of trouble and we might come back down to test levels down here around the 4,400. But as of now, it is looking bullish. We could continue to move higher, but be aware that there might be a pullback in store. If we move on to Ethereum, as you can see, Ethereum is lagging Bitcoin. Technically, if we were to move back to similar levels as we see in Bitcoin, it should be at around this level here, approximately in this range, so the 400, 500 range, if we were tracking Bitcoin, if they were highly correlated together in their movements. So it is lagging. Whether we do get a very, very strong spike move up in Ether has yet to be seen. Compared to the volumes, we can see here that Ethereum has moved up quite strongly here on volume. It is volume higher than the average that we've seen in the previous few days, so that is a good sign. Whether it maintains this level here, the 284.40 level, we want to stay above it. We attempted it previously once and got rejected very strongly from it. So a daily close above here would be very strong for Ether. A close below could start to spell some trouble, and we might maybe come back down to the 250 range, but as of now, we do look strong. We are stuck in this zone right here where it did cause some resistance in the past before we got that strong drop lower. So a break, technically we would love to see a break above 322 for a test of 500. But as of now, we are seeing some strength in Ether. Ether, unlike Bitcoin, did not break its parabolic move higher. You could see here that it tested it multiple times and continues to bounce off. So this parabolic trend line or move is still intact. Going down to lower time frames, we could see here that it did hug the line for quite a while. I'd say over 3-4 days before getting that strong impulse move higher, and now we could see here that it is holding. This was resistance before, and now it is holding it as support. But if we zoom out a bit, we can see here that you are forming a triple top pattern. The next few hours, the daily close are going to be very important on Bitcoin and many other major coins, so something to watch for. Moving on to Litecoin. Litecoin has its halving coming up. I think it's in the next 2 months. We can see here that this one has tracked Bitcoin very nicely, and in the past they've always tracked each other very nice. We are at the same inflection point as with Bitcoin. You're at major resistance here. If we do get a break above, we could see a move possibly back up to this region here, maybe even test these highs. So we could see a move back up to 181, which could very well likely happen into the halving date. The only thing to keep aware of is we could see a buy the rumor, sell the news type of event where maybe a day before or during the day of the halving, you might see one last spike up and you could get a retest lower. We haven't seen a test back down below here, so we could get a retest back to 100. Again, that all depends on what Bitcoin does. If we do get that drop in Bitcoin to, let's say, the 8,000 or 7,000 range, Litecoin could very well likely return back to 120, 100, maybe even come back down to this strong level support here at 80. But again, very unlikely unless Bitcoin starts to come down strongly. But the Litecoin does look good. We could even see a push up to 300, 200 before getting that drop down lower. Again, all dependent on Bitcoin. Looking at Ripple. So Ripple here, Ripple hasn't really moved much at all. It's remained stuck in, we'll draw a little range here, it's remained stuck in this range here. So basically from 25 cents to 60 cents, this was the previous resistance. 25 cents was around the previous resistance of before the run of 2018. So you could see why that has provided support in the past, and you could see here these highs of 62, actually even as low as 46 cents are providing as very strong resistance. We can see here why a lot of people are getting excited on Ripple. There's a lot of wicks, but we can see here that we are forming an ascending wedge that could continue to go on into July, maybe the beginning of July, maybe a week or two into July before we see a substantial move higher. Looking at the past here, we have seen news. We got news, I think it was earlier this week, of Ripple's involvement with MoneyGram. In the past, that would have caused a big spike in the price, but we do see here it's been very subdued. A break of this level here could result in a pretty decent move, especially seeing that Ripple's at 44 cents. We could see a revisit of the local highs of around 56 cents, 57 cents, or maybe even to the range high here of 62 cents, which again, not really a massive move, and we have seen Ripple move like this in the past very quickly, but again, it is a substantial move. It is a 40% move higher, but we'd still be within this range. If we were to break this range, again, you could see here the local highs are around on that last move up before we got that big drop down was around $1. So for people who are able to get Ripple around the lower end of the range and play range bottom to range top, if we do get a break above this range level, we could target $1. That would be a very strong resistance zone. Actually, even here where we wicked last time and rejected strong was around 77, 78 cents. So that would be our target for Ripple. Again, same as all the other coins. Volume is decreasing on these moves higher, so something to keep an eye on. If we return back here to Bitcoin, we could see that it is trying to push higher again here. A lot of people are saying that a strong pullback is imminent. It's going back down to 6K until we get a strong break of, I would say, this level here. I think 7,500 is the level demarked by bulls, and that has been defended pretty heavily in the past on many tests. I would say until we get a break below the 7,500 level and a close below, I would say dips right now are good opportunities. A break and hold above this 10,500 level, then I would say it could be clear pastures easily until 12,000. I would say it could get back up to these highs here, but again, we don't want to get too ahead of ourselves. Wait for the daily close today to create a bias. Wait for these candles to close. We are getting in a territory where sellers are increasing their positions here, so it really depends on who wins the battle, but we could see here that selling interest did increase heavily at around this level, so might want to wait for a pullback back down to 9,500 to see what happens there. But besides that, we are getting some news about the Facebook's Libra coin. It is getting some rejection, or I guess bad press by some countries regarding whether it should be a viable currency. So stay tuned on news about that. We would have expected to see some hit to Ripple, but it didn't really affect it. So in regards to that, just keep an eye out for that regarding news of Facebook's Libra coin with either it's the US government or even the ECB has made comments regarding that. So for now, just keep an eye on that, and we should get more news from that in the future. Take care, guys. Thank you. Hello?